What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for real producers by real producers and with none other than Tampa Bay's real producers. So we get to hang today with Tatum Praise.
Let's go.
What's up, my girl? How you doing?
Up? I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you again.
Right.
It's been a little while, I think, since we've hooked up, you know?
Yeah.
I know I've seen you at a couple of our events over the years, and we had featured Tatum, actually, as a rising star. That was crazy to think. That was over 2 years ago, I think.
I know. Super crazy. Flies by.
It really does.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
If you don't know Tatum, she is definitely one of the rock stars of Tampa Bay real estate. She's with McBride Realty. We're going to dive into her story in just a second. But just to get some of the number stuff out of the way, Tatum, I saw last year, did over $28 million in business, over 50 transactions, I think it was last year. Was that your best year ever?
Yeah, last year was definitely my best. Crushed it. Felt good about it. And it was a very fun year for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's interesting because, like, you know, a lot of people did not have their best year ever last year and went through some struggles, but you've really seemed to be growing year over year. So why don't we back up a little bit and start with just your story? Did you grow up in this area? If not, what made you come to Tampa? How'd you get started in real estate? Why don't we start there?
All right, yeah. So no, definitely not from Tampa. I moved here, went to the University of Tampa.
I'm a fellow Spartan.
Oh, there we go.
I think that's how we first connected.
Yep. So I'm originally from Minnesota, grew up there the majority of my life, and big family, very family-oriented was like my upbringing and stuff. So I was into sports and stuff, so I think that kind of gave me the competitive drive with things as far as moving that over into the real estate realm of things. But I went to the University of Tampa, was planning on actually becoming like a physician assistant or something, going the medical route, but when I was going through school, my dad owned an Airbnb property. My brother was in property management side of things. So that kind of intrigued me as far as just putting real estate on the radar. Mm-hmm. And I was super obsessed with like growth and Grant Cardone and kind of just like making sure I wanted to be successful in this life. Yeah, 10X,
I get it.
baby.
It's all about 10X.
So that was kind of how it started. And I'm like, hey, I'm in college, but I want something that I can do outside of school to kind of grow and not really have a cap to things. So got my license. I think it was my sophomore or junior year in college. And then I just I would go from class and I would skateboard back to the office at McBride that was super close. And it was just an everyday thing where I was super determined to kind of be successful in this. And so I built my business basically as I was going to school. Mm-hmm. And then I graduated and kind of took off from there. So what
was your major at school?
Allied health, exercise science, basically.
Perfect for real estate.
Perfect. Right in line.
So shows a lot about how hard of a worker you are because, it's not a lot of college students that'll want to take on a real estate career while you're trying to finish school and graduate and get good grades and be involved with extracurricular activities and all of that kind of jazz. So it's pretty impressive. I think if I remember correctly, you started more on like the investment side, right? Were you working with flips and stuff early, or am I wrong about that?
So I was definitely working with them. It wasn't really like a focus or anything. I think it just kind of organically happened that way.
So you were retail real estate from day one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I originally started with one of my brothers, and we were like a team at first, and then I felt like I was doing all the work, and then I had to split my check at the end with him. I'm like, what the crap?
Time to part ways, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't going to work. So
Tatum's got to get paid. So how much time were you investing in real estate when you were in school?
Pretty much everything. Like I didn't party very much in college because I was so focused on kind of making something of myself, and maybe regret that slightly, but at the same time, like I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't done that. So I spent a lot of time. I would be at the office until like midnight a lot of the nights.
Wow.
And, yeah.
So when you graduated, you just immediately went full-time, head over heels into real estate, just continued doing what you had already built really for those last couple of years, huh?
Yeah. So my first year, though, I was at KW originally when I started.
Okay.
And what kind of brought me there was the training and all of that aspect of things. But I think the thing that helped me the most was actually going to where I am now, McBride, because I got a lot more like hands-on mentorship from my broker, Brian. He kind of took me under his wing and provided leads. Like at KW, I wasn't really given anything to like help me get started type deal besides the training, which is good. But like implementing that, it doesn't translate really. A deal is a deal.
Yep.
So that helped me a lot. I was given leads to actually call, so I would just bang the calls, basically.
You were a workhorse.
Yeah.
And shout out to Brian McBride. I know that you do a great job over there in supporting your people and making things work. So you've been with them now for what?
Probably about 7
years now?
Yeah.
And so has your business just gradually grown every year? Has that been your experience?
It has, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so what are some things that you think have really helped you the most, Tatum? And like I said, we featured you as a rising star, I guess, almost maybe even 3 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago now. And at that time, you were already on the verge or were breaking the top 500 producers, right, in the Tampa Bay market. And a lot of agents take years to be able to get traction. And the fact that you did it, I guess, a little bit part-time in school probably helped to get that traction. But what do you think are some of the things that have worked really well for you to just grow and the way you have and year over year?
I think the main thing is, one, making sure you take great care of your clients. And then secondly is just following up with those clients, because most of my business now is just organic referral based.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my best to nurture those relationships that I've already built with past clients and make sure that they have the best experience so that they go and tell all their friends and family, like, if anybody needs anything, I'm the person they're going to call.
Yeah.
So I think that's been one of the main sources that's helped me kind of grow organically.
We had a panel just yesterday at Whiskey Cake on relationships and referrals. That was our main topic.
There we go.
And you would have been a great panelist for that.
Come on.
We'll have to have you on next year now that I know that more. What percentage of your business would you say comes from referrals now? Do you know?
I would say probably about 80 to 85.
That high?
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. And so I'm assuming you have certain systems, would you say, in place that help track that for you and just help that grow, or has it just been completely organic?
There's definitely certain things that I do, yes. I've got a back of the house kind of marketing team that helps manage all of like the touch points and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then just meeting and contacting and staying in touch with people keeps
Makes
you
sense.
top of mind.
When I think of you too, I know you were even nominated, I think it was this past year at our Agent Choice Awards for the social media superstar category. Am I correct? Right?
Yeah,
I think that's what
so.
it was. And when I think of your brand, you do a great job online of just creating content, right?
Yeah.
So not even just real estate content specifically, but just being yourself, and you're very funny. You have a great personality. If you don't follow Tatum, you want to follow her. She'll make you laugh for sure. She's a bit of a comedian, and she loves rap music, just so you guys know.
That's for sure. I drop it down. Baby.
Yeah, no doubt. I love watching you sometimes just drop some lyrics up the on social media every now and again.
Yeah.
But so she has like a great social media presence, and I'm assuming from a business side of things, like people see the real you, right, through social media many times. I'm assuming that's probably played a role in your success in business, would you say?
Definitely, yeah. And I get leads and stuff from social media just by the content that I push out and stuff. But I think that's another thing that personally I think has helped, is just like, I don't really care what people think of me. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. Like,
right.
Then I get to work with people that enjoy who I am organically as a person. So I've always just kind of been myself, and it's worked thus far. So I mean, I'd rather be that than try to be something else. And
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good lesson for anybody. Like, some people are a little leery about social media and what exactly to do with it.
Right.
But it's really just, I mean, it's called social media for a reason. Just be yourself, right?
You just got to do it.
Whatever you enjoy, like your passions, your interests, just talk about them and be real. And, you know, people respect that, and the people who you probably want to work with in your life will be attracted to that.
Exactly, yeah.
It makes sense.
It is kind of funny, though, looking back, like, at the first video when I was probably, 20 years old that I ever posted. It's like, wow, that was really embarrassing. But, I mean, you do
Got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Do you have a favorite platform that you use for social media?
I like Instagram the best.
You do? Why?
Yeah. It's the one I use the most. TikTok, I don't know if it's like, I honestly don't really even get TikTok that much, like for real estate purposes, but it's just confusing to me. So Instagram's easy to use. I don't know, I just like the platform the best.
Makes sense. And would you get leads through Instagram, you would say?
Yeah.
Very cool. Do you also have like a professional brand online, would you say, that you've used for real estate purposes, or not really? Just keeping everything personal?
Definitely, I think. So I've kind of branded myself to kind of seem more like a brokerage, but obviously I'm with McBride and stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, and I've focused a lot on like growing my Google reviews and all of that aspect of things, which has definitely helped. So I would say yes, I definitely have more so of a brand that I've created.
And Tatum Praise is the brand, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Eventually it may change, like if I do decide to build a team or something. But I think eventually my main goal aspect of things is just more so to, at some point, just be on the investor side of things and develop and that whole thing. So
cool. Do you have any investment property now?
So yeah, I've got a nice little rental portfolio. I have about 9 properties now.
Nice.
I flip about 3 or 4 houses a year.
Look at you. Barbara Corcoran early, huh?
That's right.
Making it is the goal of this investment side. Just to, I know for many people, even including myself, I view real estate investments as like a passive income potential stream with the goal of being able to replace full-time working income, right?
Yeah.
Is that how you view it too?
Yeah. I'd like to be in my mid-30s and not really have to work, but I will still because I'm like, I have that mentality.
Right. You love it too much.
Yeah.
What would you say you love the most about your job or your business?
I love the variety that it offers. You get to do all different things every single day, and it's not just a one-way street to things. And I love the kind of obstacles that you have to get through because every deal is different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you really have to be able to think on your feet, right?
Totally.
Because you never know what the next challenge is going to be that pops up and holds up the closing. And
yeah, or you could be in the business for however many years, and you're like, this has never stinking happened before.
This is new.
Yeah.
Can you think of maybe one scenario that was a challenge for you to overcome, or something that really kind of taught you a lesson in your years so far?
Well, I've got kind of a story that I'm surprised didn't kick me out of the business.
Okay, we could start there.
All right, we'll start there. So it was my first listing appointment with my brother ever in the entire thing, and we got the lead from cold calling. Okay, we were on dialers, like you would just ring, pick up that whole deal, and that sucked big time. But
it's hard work.
I know, but we got this lead, all right? And it was like $1 million house. We were pumped. So it was our first deal. So we go to it. Scariest thing in my entire life. Literally. We walked in and all of the lights in the house were turned off. And there was one light shining down on a big table with newspapers all over it. Okay. And it was this older guy. And he had this woman in the house. And
hopefully voluntarily?
I don't think so. I'm not kidding. I think it was like a mail order type deal.
Okay.
And we would sit down at the table, and she was standing behind him, and she was like, he's so mean. So mean. Mouthing that to me. Wow. And he wouldn't let me talk because he didn't like my hair or my skirt. So he disregarded, said, I can't talk, and only my brother. My brother was sweating balls. I thought we might have.
This was your first transaction?
First ever. We
wow, what a way to start with real estate, huh?
Yeah. I was like, wow, that was the scariest thing ever.
Did you get the listing?
No.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
All that.
I know, but it circled around. And
I'm surprised you let him shut you up like that. I mean, I would think you'd be like, listen, I'm here to talk.
I should have, but I was like, this guy might actually kill us. So
that could be intimidating for sure.
So then it circled around, though. An actual acquaintance of mine ended up buying that house, and he had died of Alzheimer's.
That guy died from Alzheimer's. Yeah. How long ago was that? Right after?
That was probably like 2 years later.
So the house wouldn't even get listed for 2 years later.
No.
Huh? Wow.
I think he was just doing it. So who knows?
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Big time. Crazy.
Hopefully that woman was able to get away.
I know. I hope so too.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm sure there's all kinds of stories as far as just the different types of personalities that you've come across. On listing appointments, buyers looking for whatever types of properties. Yeah. I know you've worked a little bit with investors, and I've done some real estate investing myself and know a little bit about those spaces. And there's a lot of interesting personalities on the investment side. Oh, yeah. For sure. So it's almost, we've had someone on here before talking about how real estate in many ways is like having to be a psychologist.
100%.
Because part of your conversation is really trying to figure out their motivations and all that stuff.
Transition and tailor towards the actual person. Yeah,
good stuff. Well, you've made it work, Tatum. I mean, you've been growing every year.
Thank goodness, yeah.
And so when you think about this year, you think you'll grow again this year? You on track for that?
I don't know if I'll beat last year's this year. I'll probably...
You might break the chain this year, you think?
Might break the chain, but I'm working on 2 other businesses that we're opening too, so...
Look at you. Yeah. In real estate?
Real estate related, yeah.
Okay. You want to talk about them?
Sure. We started a professional photography company that's already up and rolling, and then we're going to do a staging company too, so...
Who's we?
Me, my assistant, Jose, on the photography side, and then my broker.
Very cool.
Yep.
So it'll be you're owning it with them, yep. And it'll be the photography. What was the other one you said? Staging. Okay. Yeah. So obviously very auxiliary to the real estate business. Yep. It makes sense to have a lot of that stuff in house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So has that been exciting. Something you've always had kind of in the vision, or this just kind of happened recently?
I've always wanted something to kind of go along with what I do every day, and it kind of just all made sense. So. And I do.
It's tough to operate multiple businesses at the same time, isn't it?
It definitely is, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've learned that because I have a solar company. I don't know if I ever told you that, but
I didn't know that.
I have a solar company, and obviously Tampa Bay Real Producers is a main thing for us, and has been I love what I do in this business, and especially since adding the podcast this year, I've had a lot of fun with these conversations.
Super fun.
So it's been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not easy to figure out like how do you really divvy your time up but not let the businesses suffer as a result. It really is an art in working and empowering other people, I think.
Yep. There's definitely always going to be some growing pains and stuff, but
no doubt
it's definitely feasible.
Such a rock star entrepreneur you are. Are you 30 years old yet?
27.
27 years old.
It's sneaking up on me, though.
Look at you. About to hit the big 3-0. I mean, by the time that you hit 3-0, you'll probably be a millionaire by that point.
I sure hope so, yeah.
On your way.
I believe it.
On your way. So what's your vision when you think moving forward? Like, what gets you fired up about where you want to take the real estate business, maybe some of these other businesses? Do you have any other ideas of businesses that you think you're going to end up getting into one day? What's the vision look like for you?
I think what excites me the most is either flipping houses or developing. Finding good deals pumps me up.
Yep.
So that on the investment side and strictly focused on like the sales and real estate side of things, the ultimate goal is to kind of either get into the multifamily space or just the higher end luxury more specifically, versus right now my average is probably like $600K price point.
Yep.
So if I can bump that up, that would be cool. And then I love working with investors. I love that it's a lot more number based versus emotional based.
Yep.
So that kind of thing pumps me up.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, are you thinking as an agent to represent the investor side more, or personally you're talking about just building your own investment portfolio?
Both.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I do that now. I represent myself on my deals, and obviously I'm going to continue to grow that because that eventually will allow me to not have to work as much.
Yeah. So. The 9 investment properties you have right now, they're single family homes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so personally, one of the things that I'm focused on right now is getting into multifamily as well from an investment perspective.
Yeah.
I really like the old like 15 unit to 50 unit space in there.
Heck yeah.
Have you done any work in those spaces yet or in that ballpark?
So we have as a brokerage that I've been like a part of and stuff on just representation side of things.
Yeah.
But not personally, no. But that's ultimately the goal, yeah.
I actually had lunch recently with Sam Gay. I know you know Sam.
Yep.
And we had that conversation because I know he's done a little bit of work on the finance side, on the commercial side, right?
Yep.
So, and obviously he knows Brian really well with McBride. So, I mean, I think you're in a great fit there for people that really seem to be operating in that space already.
Right.
It makes a lot of sense to kind of build up your portfolio, on that side. We'll have to, our next month actually at our panel, we're doing at Whiskey Cake, our panel is on building wealth through real estate investing.
Cool. I'll be there.
We might have to have you on that panel.
Oh,
we'll see.
I'm
we'll have to talk about that. I'm trying to get like a specialist in different things, right? So I think I have one person right now who does a lot of flipping. I do have a guy who has built a commercial portfolio who's going to talk more about that. So I'm trying to just get maybe somebody who's done a lot of work in the STR space as an option, and have different, people that can add different opinions to that.
That would be
but
super
I'd love to have
valuable.
you there if you're able to make it. It's always on the third Thursday.
All right, sweet.
So, for people who don't really know you yet personally and this is maybe the first time they're being introduced to Tatum, like let's give them a little bit more on the personal side. So, What do you love to do for fun? Like, what keeps you busy when you're not crushing it in business?
So when I have a chance, my favorite thing to do is travel. Love hiking, love the mountains probably more than anything. So if I can get out there, that's my favorite thing to do. Other than that, I like to work out. Used to love it. Now it's a like. Don't like it as much anymore. Now it's kind of a chore, but I enjoy it.
But a necessity, right?
Yeah, necessity. Yeah. Sad how that changes. But love to be outside biking. I got 2 dogs now. I just upgraded on one of them.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Those are your babies?
They're my babies, and it's a lot. Let me tell you.
It is.
They're psycho.
I mean, you're talking to a guy that has 5 kids, so a lot is kind of relative.
Yeah, it's nothing then.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
2 dogs. I mean, that's a different life than 5 kids for sure. You know. Yes.
I'm preparing myself though. I want a big family. So.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice. Are you dating anybody?
I am. Yep.
All right. Who's a lucky guy? You gonna share that or no? It's okay. You don't have to blow him up if you don't want to.
His name's Shay.
Is he in real estate?
He does roofs.
He does roofing. Very cool. All right. Sorry, guys. She's not available right now, so it is what it is. But maybe, who knows? Maybe it won't last. But no. Shout out to Shay. Shout out to Shay. Good to have you. Hopefully you're listening in, Shay. So, so you want a big family?
Yeah.
Very cool. Does Shay want a big family?
Well, he's got 1 daughter already.
Okay.
So there goes 1. I would like 4 or 5.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was an only child, and so
Really?
when I was dating Lauren, we had talked about having 4 kids during our dating years.
Yeah.
Because she had 1 older sister, so she didn't really come from a big family either.
Okay.
And I mean, we didn't really expect to have the 4 as close together as we did because we had 4 kids in like 6 years. Right, it was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
It was. We just had another baby in January.
Bang him out,
That's the point, right? Why wait? Why wait?
I totally agree.
So we had a 4-year-old. My youngest was my 4-year-old daughter, and then we just had another baby in January. That's our 5th now, and so that was our biggest gap. That 4-year gap for sure between.
Was the last one planned?
No, that was a whoopsie.
Surprise!
That was a whoopsie, and she's a blessing for sure. Yeah, little baby Trinity.
Amazing.
Shout out to her for sure.
That's awesome.
But it's crazy. I mean, as an only child, like our house is just complete chaos. It's
100%.
It's totally a zoo.
Yeah.
But there's something cool about that too, you know.
For sure. I grew up. We had 5 of us kids, so I'm used to it's a party every time you get together.
Yeah.
I love that crap.
Are any of them in Tampa Bay or all the way?
Yeah, so actually when I moved here, pretty much my whole family followed me down from Minnesota. Then my sister and her husband and kids ended up moving back to Minnesota. They thought it was too stinking hot here. Whatever. But now 2 of my brothers are still here. They actually were my next door neighbor for a little while. They bought right next door to me.
Nice.
Come on, give me a little space here.
Is your brother still in real estate, the one that you worked with?
Yeah, so they own the listing real estate management, so they basically do all of Orlando area and then all of Tampa area.
Okay.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
I went to Minnesota for the first time this past year.
So what'd you think?
I was there in January, but I got lucky because it was like 40 degrees.
Oh, it snapped.
Yeah, I didn't experience real Minnesota Januaries, you know? But I was there for the Giants playoff game, you know? They played the Vikings in January, and I'm a Giants fan. I grew up in that area.
Okay.
So I traveled up for the game. The Giants won, of course.
All right, there we go.
It was a big win. It was a big win. But that stadium's gorgeous. I love the U.S. Bank in Minneapolis. Did you grow up in that area, Minneapolis?
I was about an hour from there in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I had fun. I was there for just like a longer weekend, but did the Mall of America thing and all that jazz.
That's sweet. You see all the tunnels and stuff for the winter time?
Yeah, it was different. I mean, there was feet of snow everywhere because I think they had a major blizzard like the week before that I got there, but I lucked out in the time I was actually there. I don't think it ever got below like maybe 30 at the lowest.
Super lucky.
Yeah, we did. No doubt. Because it was like negative 20, I think, the week before.
Torture. I don't know how people do that, honestly.
Yeah, that's why I left Connecticut. Well, one of the many reasons, but the winters were not really, a fan of those anymore.
No.
So you mentioned you love to travel. Yep. You have a favorite place to go other than Minnesota?
I love California. I was born in California, so we've kind of gone back there every year.
Cool.
So Hermosa Beach is kind of my vibe. Get to chill, skateboard, that whole deal.
Nice. You're a skateboarder?
Yeah, like pennyboard.
Look at you.
Yeah.
So is that something you do a lot?
I love it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten hurt doing that?
No, I'm a professional.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Is that something that you also capture for like social media content and stuff, or not really?
I do, but it'll just be like on stories where I'm jamming.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. All right. And so I got a couple like rapid fire questions that
right,
we'll just get a little bit more from you. So do you have a favorite book or author or seminar, even something that you feel like has had a big impact on you professionally or personally? Anything come to mind?
Rich Dad Poor Dad was probably. I don't read that much, honestly.
Hey, that's a book.
So I read that book probably.
You at least know what title it won.
I might get it wrong, honestly. But I think I got
you nailed it. That is the title.
So I read that up in college.
Did you actually read that book, or did you just hear about the title?
That was probably the one book I actually finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally,
it's funny. That was actually what got me started in my investment.
Really?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, very cool. There we go.
Yeah, I read it when I was like 19.
Yep.
And it just opened my eyes to what a real asset is, right? Versus a liability. And so I think that's I hear that story a lot, actually. I think it's a lot of people read it at a young age for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it opens up a lot of people's minds, especially since I didn't really have any parents who taught me that kind of thing, as far as the investment world.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a great one.
That sure is.
And look at you now. It started a pathway, huh?
It did.
Makes sense. And so with McBride Realty, is there culturally things that you guys do to, whether that's events together or seminars or anything like that, that's been helpful from a brokerage standpoint?
Yeah, so we got a great crew. I love all the people there. We just all get along pretty darn good, especially in a competitive business like this.
Sure.
But yeah, we do a lot of cool events and stuff, pretty much almost monthly or every other month. We just went to the Gators football game.
Nice.
This past weekend. Had a stinking blast. I've never been to one of those before, and they are popping.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh
absolutely.
My gosh,
college football and the big scenes.
Yeah.
And especially in the South, it's like hardcore.
It was pretty awesome.
Did you guys tailgate?
We did. We got there at 10 a.m. Game was at 7:30.
Oh, people set up at like 7 a.m. for those things.
Insane. I'm like, this is a little bit long.
Oh, yeah.
But it was
especially
so
in Gainesville. They're the real deal there, for sure. That's cool.
So that was cool. And then tomorrow we actually got a Crack Up Cancer, like, fundraiser event type deal over in St. Pete. So we do all sorts of different things like that just to kind of keep the vibe good and get everybody together. So.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? Just collaboration with the team and feeling that support. You're one of the top agents there, I think, at this point, right? I know Deborah's there too, right? Deborah Valdez. I know we featured her. And she's a team builder, right? She has a team that she's grown. Right. So is she kind of like the mother of the brokerage? Is that does she provide that angle of wisdom?
She doesn't come into the office too much, but
do you guys get along well? You have a good relationship with her?
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Do you have a favorite TV show or movie?
TV show? I like The Bachelor.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I can't say that I can follow suit with that, but no, I've never
really. Maybe.
She doesn't watch it, believe it or not.
No, really.
No, she's big into like the Game Show Network.
Oh wow.
She loves the Game Show Network. Yeah, that and she does like House Hunters and that kind of thing on HGTV.
Yeah.
But you know what I've been really like plowing through is Suits on Netflix.
So super good.
It is good.
Love
so you've seen it?
Show, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Have you gone through the whole seasons yet or not yet?
I think I did.
Yeah, I'm on actually season 9 now.
Okay.
So this is the last one. So I'm starting to get to the home stretch. I don't know. I got to figure something else to do with my time, I guess. Have more babies, maybe? I don't know.
There we go. Out of 6.
We'll see. But Suits is good.
It definitely is.
It was kind of cool to see some of the. I don't know how authentic it really is to the real like legal experience, but I mean that's in my mind what it's like to be a high-powered lawyer, right?
I mean, it'd be pretty cool. I'm not
makes
gonna lie.
sense. Yeah,
big time.
Do you have a favorite food?
I love meat.
Meat.
Okay,
like so you're a steak gal.
I love meat.
All right.
And I've been the past 60 days. I've been on like a meat diet, basically.
Okay.
So
how's that working out for you?
Amazing. No, I'm dead serious.
Yeah?
Literally amazing. So basically you eat meat and fruit, raw cheese, raw milk, and you feel stinking amazing.
Now, are you doing it for a particular reason or you just love meat?
Well, both, I guess. No, more so just to get a little bit leaner, and it's supposed to help your skin and like just feel better.
Load yourself up with some protein.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great protein.
The protein diet.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that then. I guess.
It's look like carnivore diet or meat based diet.
Is that what it's called? The meat-based diet? Interesting.
Super interesting.
Because I always assumed that, like, well, red meat, I guess too much of it is not supposed to be the best for you.
I think that's a lie.
Is it a lie? I mean, who knows? Everything else is out there.
Honestly, who knows? I got no idea.
It's all a lie out there anyway, so it's not surprising.
It makes me feel good. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Then keep doing it.
All right.
Why not?
Exactly.
That works.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one place to travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I really want to go to Europe. Haven't really ever been out of the country. Went to Canada when I was like a baby, so that doesn't count. And so I want to go to Europe.
There you go, Shay. We're hooking you up, bro.
Yes,
now you know how to surprise Tatum with a little trip.
Europe, coming
anywhere in Europe. She's not even specific on where, just anywhere.
I honestly don't even know. Yeah. Who cares? But I'm Norwegian, so I would like to go to Norway and like Switzerland and stuff like that. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been. I've been to Italy. Loved it.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, I was there for like 2 weeks.
Food's probably the best thing.
Yeah, the people too. It was really just a cool experience. Yeah, they were very cool. I mean, every restaurant you sit down, they serve you table wine. It's like water out there.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
The other thing I really remember about it is they don't give you like these big plates like we get here in America. You know, it's like we get just stuffed like pigs when we eat at a restaurant here. Always have to leave with like a take home box or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But there, it's like a dinner is almost like a 5-hour event strategically.
Really?
And it's smaller portions, and they just space it out really perfectly, I feel like, to like have a very different experience.
That's pretty neat.
It is cool. Yeah. So it was a very cool experience. I was there for about 2 weeks, yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
I would say Italy, Israel is another one of my favorite trips.
Really?
And Prague. Those three really kind of stand out in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you know, Shay, if you check out Prague, it's one of the coolest cities because it was one of the only ones that didn't get destroyed in the war.
Really?
So the architecture there is still from like the 1100s, and it's like really old school. It feels like you're back in time.
That's pretty amazing.
It's a pretty cool experience. Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah.
So now you know. Add it to the list.
Check it out, Tatum.
There we go.
Check it out.
All right.
All right. I got a couple last things for you. Ready?
All right. Yep.
So one of my favorite things to always kind of ask about is this concept of, I mean, especially for you being as young as you are, like what you might want your legacy to be one day, right? Maybe you haven't even thought that much about that yet. But when you think about later on, when you're maybe sitting on that rocking chair one day and looking back on what you would want to be most remembered for, right?
Okay.
What do you think would be most important to you, whether that's professional or personal, in terms of what you'd want that legacy to be?
Great question.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I gotta think about this for a second.
Yeah, you're welcome to think all you want.
All right, so I would say one, I want to be remembered for always being open and willing to help people. I'm very big on like my faith and God and all of that, so I would like to be remembered as somebody that kind of portrayed that in their life and was able to show people kind of that path of things. I think that's probably the most important to me, because it's not just something now, it's forever type deal. So
it's pretty eternal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is probably the most important to me. Business-wise, I'd like to be... That's a hard one to answer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've realized money doesn't make me happy type deal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about really money. But given if I have a family, I would like something to pass on to them type deal.
Sure.
But yeah, I need to think about that a little bit more.
Well, that's why we ask it.
I know. I think I've got hopefully a lot of years left, but you never know.
Yeah. So. Well, hopefully you do too. I mean, you've done a lot already in a short period of time. Like I said, most people that are in college are not worried about building a real estate career.
Right. Very true.
You were wired a little differently than most of the people I was hanging out with, including myself.
Yeah.
When I was at University of Tampa,
right.
Our focuses were very different than what you seemed like you were spending your time doing.
Yeah.
During those years. So that's exciting. And obviously the success that you've deserved at a young age. And so I'm trying to think about it, but you might be the youngest person we've had on this podcast so far.
Wow, for real.
Congrats,
that's
if that means
cool.
anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's super cool.
But it is cool to be a real producer, which you officially, I mean, not only are you in the top 500, Tatum, but like you're high in that list. Like you're basically you're right in that top 100 range of all agents and throughout the whole Tampa Bay market. So it's
cool.
exciting to see what you've done at a young age, and really is a testament to how hard you work.
Yeah.
So congrats.
Anybody can do it. Just takes a lot of work.
It does.
Yeah.
Consistency, right?
Consistency.
That's a focus for sure.
Big time.
And I think, again, the more you get to know Tatum, one of the things that at least I take away from every time we connect and get a chance to talk, you always seem to have a very optimistic attitude. You know, you have kind of I would say a charismatic personality that I can see why clients would love working with you and enjoy wanting to send you more business. Because it sounds like you would be the type of person that, you know, how some people you just kind of connect with and others you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And every time we get a chance to talk, I always feel like we have a great conversation.
Absolutely.
It's always fun to hook up with you. So if anybody wanted to follow up with you, Tatum, maybe pick your brain a little bit on how you had success as quickly as you had, especially for maybe young people out there who, you know, are just getting into real estate. I know every time we do these panels, we have a lot of younger people in the crowd that are new agents.
Yeah.
That just got licensed and they're trying to find their way. And I think Tatum would be a great mentor for many people that, you know, are in their 20s that are trying to figure out how to do what she's done, right? And built. What's the best way for someone to reach out to you and pick your brain if they can connect with you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message on there, Tatum Praise on Instagram, or you can text me at my number, 813-528-1121.
She does have a boyfriend, though, guys, so don't be blowing up her phone.
Hey, come on, dude. We'll see.
That's cool. Well, I'm glad. We'll put your contact info, by the way, up on the descriptions for the YouTube channel.
Cool.
And wherever else we end up throwing all this stuff out there. But it was great to have you here today.
Thank you,
I'm glad we were able to dive in. I'm sure we'll have you back on some other episode when you start building up that commercial portfolio and talking about all the investment side.
Blowing it up, baby.
Yeah, to make that happen too. So we're going to end this episode the way we do every episode, which is with a challenge. And the concept is, if you invested your time into watching this episode and hopefully we're able to grab at least one nugget, what is one specific action step that you can take from our conversation with Tatum today that you think can help you move forward in the direction that you want to go, whether that's professionally or personally? Maybe you have to just kind of get more brave on social media, right? That's something Tatum and I talked about. Maybe it's important for you to get hooked up with a brokerage like she's found with McBride that has been a great fit for her. And that support that she has with McBride is something maybe that you're not feeling, you know, wherever you might be. And so maybe that's something that you need to look into. Or maybe you just need to, you know, travel to Minnesota and check out Tatum's homeland. Who knows what it is, but buy Rich Dad, Poor Dad, whatever it might be, right? But pick a specific action step that you can grab from our conversation. And if you do that, then the time that you invest in watching this is going to be worth it. And that's actually how you become a real producer, is to take action. So thanks for your time. We will see you on the next episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers. Check you later.
Peace.